All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Marvel Future Fight video. It's been a while since I've had to do one of these videos, but I noticed something yesterday when I was playing with my War Machine that upset me greatly. Like, it really made me mad. I have no idea why the Future Fight development team decided to do this out of nowhere with no notice, no type of warning, nothing at all. So I do want to talk about it because I feel as though this is not a good look for them, and it makes me very wary in investing in characters. So yesterday I was playing with my War Machine, and I've been playing with him a lot more because he's one of the tier 3s that I have on my free-to-play account, and I'm strongly debating giving him a CTP of energy on my free-to-play account. But being as though it is a free-to-play account, I have to always, like I say, measure twice before I make that first cut. You have to cut like a surgeon, because on a free-to-play account you don't have the luxury of making a lot of mistakes, because every mistake you make will set you back. So been testing this guy a lot on the whale account, because on the free-to-play account he's seeming a little bit weaker than I thought he would be. And the thing is, I wasn't sure why. So I came on my whale account and I was just doing my thing, doing a bit of a comparison between some of my other characters, seeing what's going on over here. And then I noticed something. These guys on the development team actually went back and nerfed War Machine. Now, some of you guys may not be aware of this, but after the release of War Machine, they buffed him, right? A small buff in the actual patch that was not listed in the patch notes. So let me show you something here, okay? First and foremost, let's take a look at the patch notes that we got, and then I'm going to show you something interesting. So for the patch notes, which was released on August 17 this year, so 2021, right here you can see it, they said that War Machine's damage accumulation was only going to be 11%. Let me put it up in full screen so you can see it. They said his damage accumulation was only going to be 11% of the for each 1% of the damage taken. Okay, cool. It's not 15% like Doctor Doom, Sharon Rogers, Luke Cage, and a couple other characters, but 11%, it's pretty good. It's way better than anything that he had previously. So was excited for this. Jumped into the game, and one of my first videos I was testing him out, and then I pointed it out. I said, War Machine accumulation buffed. A new free-to-play god arrives. And then you take a look here, it says increases attack by 13% for each 1% of damage taken. This video was made on August 18, so a day after the patch notes, right? And somewhere along the lines, I guess these guys decided he was too strong. Doesn't make any sense to me, right? You release this, and this is what I showed to a bunch of people, and I'm sure I'm not the only content creator. And then after the fact, these guys actually went back and nerfed him. They actually nerfed the damage accumulation and reverted it back to 11%. No idea why. No rhyme or reason, no notice, no warning, nothing. And this is not a good look for a couple different reasons. When you buy things in this game and you pick them up a certain way, you expect them to be that way indefinitely, because it's not very often that you will see these guys go back and buff a uniform, right? You have to basically tear the game apart, spam them with messages, and just go ballistics. They have to be losing a bunch of money for them to go back and buff a uniform. So what rhyme or reason did they have to go back and nerf the uniform? Now, some of you guys are gonna say, hey, it's only 2%. It's not a big deal. It wasn't even listed as 13% to begin with, so this is nothing to cry about. And that's okay, I understand. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of people promoted it, right? A lot of content creators promoted it as 13%, and it was shown in game as 13% after the patch notes. So the fact that people bought it at 13% and then they nerfed the uniform after the initial update, it's not a good look. It kind of gives you that bait and switch vibe. And that, my friends, is illegal. And I'm not too sure why they thought this was a good idea, Maybe it's because this game is primarily played by children, and most children don't have the means, the financial means to sue them, right? Because you can sue if something is advertised as one thing and then you buy it and then later on it turns out to be something else. That's like saying you're buying a car and they're saying, hey man, it has I don't know, 6 cylinders or 8 cylinders or whatever, and then in the dead of night somebody from the car dealership shows up to your house when you're sleeping and then just remove a couple cylinders. You wake up the next day, you go from having a V8 to a V6. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not a good look, especially when you consider that these uniforms, you're paying for them with premium currency, whether you're earning the currency in game through your time and dedication or by putting money in the game. I don't understand why they would do this. It's not like he was the most broken character in the game, and at least I think they should have made a post saying, hey, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong, maybe they did make a post saying they were reverting it back to 11%, but the fact that they felt like they could do this without even like a little bit of notice is, in my opinion, not a good look, and it's very shady business practice, because this could happen to any character. You might not care about War Machine, but let's say, for example, in the future, they release a character or release a uniform for, I don't know, everybody loves Loki or Makari or whatever not, right? So let's say in the future they release another uniform for Makari, right? And because that uniform is not selling, they just go back and they just tweak something on the older uniform to make the new one more appealing. Again, if they can do stuff like this, where we can clearly see the visual difference, right? You can see that this is now 11 versus the 13 that it was. What's to stop them from doing stuff that you cannot see? I can't tell you how many messages I get from people on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis where people say, hey, I've been playing with this character more and more and they're feeling weaker than when I initially picked up the uniform. Did they change something? And honestly, that's happened to me too, where I picked up a uniform, a character felt really strong when they were first released, and I put them down for a while, and then I come back to them later and I'm playing with them on similar stages, similar team comp, same strikers and whatnot, and they feel weaker. And I just can't put my finger on why that is the case. So sometimes, here's the thing, sometimes feelings and reality, it's not the same thing. But who's to say that sometimes they're not just tweaking numbers behind the scenes, things you cannot see, right? To make it so that once a uniform comes in, it's really strong, people buy it, people promote it, and then after the initial hype is done, they revert it to where they want it to be in the game so that they can bring in newer characters or newer uniforms, and they don't have to increase those characters' power level too much to basically make it so that they're better than what came before them. I honestly don't know what these guys were thinking with this one. I don't approve of this. If you release something and it's a certain way and it's not broken to the level where it needs to be nerfed, even if that's not what you initially wanted it to be, you saw what it was when you put it in game and people bought it off that, and then you changed it a month or two later. That's just insane to me, right? That's absolutely insane. So guys, leave me your thoughts in the comments. How are you feeling about this? Personally, I am kind of scared, because if this is the kind of things that they will do when you can see the change, what's to stop them from doing stuff in the code when you can't see the change, right? Again, feelings and reality are not always the same things. Reality is objective. Your feelings, I mean, how you perceive reality is subjective, okay? Your feelings don't necessarily mean that's how things are, but this is clear cut, okay? They did go back and they did nerf War Machine. Again, you guys might look at this and you're saying, oh, it's only 2% off of his damage accumulation. Actually, it's more like 15% off his damage accumulation that he just lost. The fact that they decided to remove 15% of this man's damage is just kind of crazy. Or at least his ability to accumulate up to 15% more damage on his third skill here. And again, he wasn't necessarily like out DPSing everybody in the game. So the fact that they went back and did this is just kind of yikes. And it makes me want to go through my roster and check all of my characters and see like if there are any characters that they're nerfing behind the scenes without saying anything, because that is repulsive. It actually is. It makes me so upset. I was so mad yesterday when I saw this. I actually had to go dig up the patch notes to make sure that it was initially listed for 11%, and thank goodness that it was, because if it was listed at 13, came in at 13 and then reduced to 11 after, that would be a much bigger issue. I'm happy I did the research to find out that it was initially listed as such, but man, that is a real bummer for him, because now I don't know, I'm gonna have to re-evaluate the character and retest him and see like where he sits compared to Falcon again, because when he initially came in and he had 13%, he was out DPSing my Falcon with a lesser build, whereas now I don't know, man. But we are in a speed meta, so Falcon has more use because of Mephisto being a thing and us now having a combat legend, but still this is terrible. So leave me your thoughts in the comments, guys. I don't want to hold you too long. I just wanted to point this out because maybe some of you guys who are free to play or whatnot, you're playing with War Machine and you're noticing that he's a little bit weaker than in August when you picked up the uniform. This is why. You're not imagining things. This really happened. He did lose a couple percent off of his damage accumulation, and that did affect his damage. I noticed it. It's significant enough for me to notice it. It's a couple bars here or there in War Boss Legend, and again, a couple bars. You could have gone from barely being able to clear a stage with him because your cards is not that good, or you don't have a CDP of energy, or you're not fully maxed out on his build and whatnot. So you could have gone from barely being able to clear a stage to now not even being able to clear it, just because of that small change that they did. Okay, so sometimes your feelings and reality are not the same thing, but in this case, your feeling or your feelings when it comes to War Machine, if you've been playing with him and noticing that he's weaker than before, you are correct. Netmarble did stealth nerf him, or stealth nerf him, English, right? So you're not imagining things. It's one of those times where your feelings and reality is actually quite accurate. Yikes, man. Catch you guys in the next one. Leave me your thoughts in the comments. Netmarble, where's the sneak peeks? And why the hell are you guys going back at nerfing characters after they were initially released? Sad times, man. I'm gone. Peace.